CNBC-TV18 presents the AI Dialogues in association with IBM.
Hello and welcome to AI Dialogues in the Financial Sector, presented by CNBC-TV18 and IBM. AI, or artificial intelligence, has started integrating itself into the financial space in a big way. The customer, for instance, is expecting customized service from banks and other entities in the financial sector. On the other hand, the regulator is expecting complete compliance, and the government as a third party is expecting both privacy and secrecy. Now, how do banks and non-bank financial entities integrate all this and stay on top of this evolving technology of artificial intelligence? That's what we are trying to explore. Well, let me start with some statistics. Just to set the context, as per the latest Reserve Bank report on trends in progress in banking, more than 78.8% of banks have adopted AI chatbots, with 11 out of the 12 public sector banks leveraging AI and machine learning (ML) technologies to offer chatbots and virtual assistants. Furthermore, I'm quoting research from The Economist, which has found that 77% of bankers believe unlocking value from AI will be the differentiator between winning and losing entities. So, with this context, let's take it forward with 4 experts in the field. I have with me 3 outstanding bankers and 1 person from IBM to tell us how AI is integrating itself into the financial space. I have with me Ramesh Lakshminarayanan from HDFC Bank, V V Balaji from ICICI Bank, Mahesh Ramamoorthy from Yes Bank, and Rishi Arora, the Managing Partner at IBM Consulting India. Gentlemen, thank you very much for generously giving us time.
Thank you.
Okay, let me start right to left. Ramesh, first, how much has AI already made inroads into banks in India? Let us start by you telling us the difference between AI and generative, or classical AI and generative.
So I think this whole thing about classical AI versus generative AI, it's a very interesting concept, and you have to differentiate. The easiest analogy that I have seen is to think that the left brain is nothing but a classical machine learning model or classical AI, and the right side is basically what the generative AI. And how does it work today? Left side is lot of it is analytical driven. You predict, you kind of calculate, you kind of do probability structures and stuff like that, which is more analytical. On the right side, you have you can write, you can narrate, you can converse. So what we've seen is the left side has been used historically for very long in the banking industry. It's going to come back to your question, because neural networks, machine learning models have been there for very long. Fraud monitoring, risk management, credit monitoring, these are concepts that have existed in banking for very long. There too, because compute power has come up in a big way,
Okay.
the models have evolved. While on the other side, the Gen AI is a newborn baby
Yes.
in that sense, and we are all kind of dealing with it. And it is coming very quickly. Banks have already started kind of adoption, and it's early days, I would still say, but lots and lots of use cases that are coming through, and we'll talk through as we go along.
This is very interesting. I mean, at least I've understood a little more about classical AI and generative AI. Would you want to add to that, Balaji?
He has summed up very well, but this is not a question of Gen AI versus classical AI. It's about, when you talk about AI as we get along, all are one step above the other. It is not that after 5 years the classical AI would vanish. It is not that. It is on top of it, Gen AI. So all have different use cases, different this one. You may find a future process where classical AI and Gen AI will coexist along with so many other tools before a particular thing. That's the point I'm making.
I will keep it for a lay person, because the moderator is a lay person and people who are listening to you are also lay persons. I'm sure some experts are also listening in. But Balaji, if you can tell us some use cases where it is already employed, so that we understand what difference Gen AI is making.
Classical AI, if I talk about classical AI, there are lots of machine learnings like what you talked about in credit, this one credit decisioning, in fraud prevention, in many areas. Also, there are many other things like document AI, voice AI, where you convert a voice into text or text into voice, read a document completely. They are all.
I'm referring to in banking. In banking, where have you all used AI?
In banking, we have used in all the processes. What you talked about, that's what all the banks have used, which is in the
making credit decisions.
Making credit decisions, fraud, identifying fraud transactions, and lots
something
of
that is outside the
correct, and application processing. In many areas, we have used KYC checking. So many areas where we have already used classical AI, and GenAI will be on top of it on various other areas. So it is not classical AI versus GenAI.
I get it.
It will be classical AI plus GenAI.
Okay. Well, actually, a similar question to you. If you can demonstrate to us, where it is used. Is it maximum used, for instance, in banking in chatbots?
So to me, I think to amplify to what two of my colleagues out here have talked about, to me I think chatbots make it, the first part of is how you use your classical chatbots, how do you keep them learning, which is a classical AI. Now the moment you make generative AI sit on top of it, it is about how you enrich the experience. And that experience enrichment is by saying, you now, in the old ones, you used to keep adding as to queries and how do you respond to a customer. But now with this, you can upload all your documents, read through the documents and make much more intelligent conversations. So generative AI plus generative AI creates intelligence. And that intelligence is what gives you a more enhanced experience to the customer, to the point that you just made. Now to adapt, if you see much more use cases, I think Lata, the biggest thing that you will see across is, Balaji was talking about credit risk decision. While the decisioning happens, you step back and look at the whole process efficiencies. If you look at credit administration, where a lot of documents need to be read, interpreted, that subjectivity created into objectivity. Now this is where a standard AI or classical AI model, as we call it, what we have today, adds up with generative AI to say, I read through with a lot of public infrastructure documents. How do I bring all of this together? How do I create say a co-pilot adding on to it and creating a document which essentially a RM, a relationship manager, would probably take 5 days, can be done in an hour. Yeah. And then that is where you really create the efficiencies. So I think the combination, it is never in isolation. What essentially we end up doing AI, where now people are seeing is driving efficiencies. Yes. And that is, and more in terms of how you use learning methods, much more better with this. And we will see that as we speak, that the opportunity is huge given where it is coming and given the learning it's far more intuitive. So let's talk about that. I think that's brilliant use cases coming up in the financial sector.
Okay.
CNBC-TV18 presents the AI Dialogues in association with IBM.